All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. I think most of you know, but I'll say it anyways. I'm Dr. Champ, Superintendent of Schools for the Pelham Public Schools, and welcome to the new Hutchinson School ribbon cutting. I almost can't believe this day is here, and I'm so thankful that it is. I look around and I see so many faces that were part of making this a reality. So I am so proud to be with you today, so proud to have been with you for these last 4 years, and so excited about the future that this building holds for our students. I want to welcome some of our esteemed guests that we're going to be hearing from today. I can't list them all, but I will list a few. We're going to be hearing today in just a few moments from Senator Alessandra Biaggi, Assemblywoman Amy Paulin, and County Executive George Latimer. Please welcome them with me. We're also joined today by our town supervisor, Dan McLaughlin, and Village Mayor, Chance Mullen. And we have a number, I don't have the full list, so I'm not going to say all the names lest I miss them, but we know we have a number of Pelham Manor Village trustees here, as well as Pelham Village trustees. If you would just give us a wave, we want to thank you for being here today. You've been a crucial part of this project as well. Thank you so much. And of course, our Board of Education, our current Board of Education members, the 7 members who are here with us today. I think almost everyone is here. We've got Vinnie Mazzaro, Leah Tabaz, Michael Owen Machane, John Bryce, our president, Jessica DiDomenico, and I know Sue Childs is somewhere that I can't see, and Ian Rowe. Please welcome them, our current Board of Education. And I also want to welcome our retired Board of Education members who are joining us today. Will Kavanaugh, Danton Chin, Marianne Gillen, Eileen Miller, Lou Muller, Peggy Nicholson, Nick Nicholson, Madeline Smith, and Jess Young. Thank you so much for your presence with us today. Each of them had such a key role in making this day come to be, so we're very just thankful for their presence and all they've contributed. I'm going to turn us now for a moment, though, before we go any further, over to the stars of the show, our students, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So Kira Loie McCormick and Ryan Malloy, please come and join us. And Sasha McCormick.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Our students do such an outstanding job. I had the pleasure, Dr. Fitzgerald and I did, I had the pleasure of standing and watching everybody come in this morning, and it was just the best. So as we continue our program, first I would like to invite to the podium our state senator, Alessandra Biaggi. It's been a tremendous support to this project and to the Pelham community.
Congratulations. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Alessandra Biaggi. I'm the state senator for this district. And I don't usually do this, but I felt like today was a really important moment. And so I actually wrote down a few things I want to share with everybody. I know I have 2 minutes. I'm going to keep it in that spirit. And I also speak very quickly, so I'm going to keep on that as well. You probably may know, maybe you don't know, but I am a product of the Pelham Public Schools. And yes, we should absolutely clap for that. I went to Prospect Hill, Pelham Middle School, and Pelham High School. I take great pride in that. And for me, what that shows is the power of what is possible in education. Pelham has created not just a state senator, but they've created people like a Michael Schwerner, a Kate Douglas, who we all had the real privilege of cheering on this summer, a Joseph Cross, and so many other notable, important people making a difference in the world. When I thought about what are the symbols of a community, and I think about four things. I think about a home, I think about people who have work that they love, health, and a school. And then I thought about, well, what is a school besides the literal structure of a school, the walls and the teachers and the words and the books? A school is a microcosm of what is possible. It's a place where all of the young people who are here today can take risks, can think about what's possible, can think about their dreams, can fail, because failing is very important. And a school, especially a school in Pelham, is an excellent place to fail. Failing is an important part of life, in case you're wondering why I use that as an example. But it's also a place to be curious, to test limits, to think about what you're passionate about. And it's essentially a key. It is one of the most important keys of change. And so when I think about standing here in front of this beautiful new elementary school, I think about Superintendent Champ, I think about the Board of Education President Jessica DiDomenico, all the Board of Education members present and past, Mayor Mullen, Assemblymember Paulin, Supervisor McLaughlin, all the parents who are here and who are not here, who have children and who do not have children, because collectively what you have proven is that the power of organizing creates one of the most powerful tools in society, and that is education. And so as I end and wrap up, even though I'd love to talk to you so much more because I have so many thoughts about education, what I hope to set the intention today with this beautiful school is to create a place where not only are there future leaders walking out of these doors, because all of the young people are our future leaders, but as a place that represents integrity and honesty and unity and kindness and compassion, which I think all of us could do with a lot better in the world, having more of all of that. So thank you. I hope you join me in that, setting that intention. To all of my colleagues in government who I didn't get to recognize, I apologize. I cannot see you through there, but I am very grateful. None of us get through this alone. This is one of the most amazing symbols of what it means to be a Pelham resident. And also, I'm just so grateful to be able to join in congratulating all of you with what's possible behind me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, I'd love to invite our Assembly member, Ms. Amy Paulin, to the podium.
Thank you. This was not easy. I know from, I think I'm the longest elected Pelham elected here, and I have seen the evolution of what it means to build a school, and it was not easy. And the people who are to my right over here and to my left really deserve enormous credit for taking this project and bringing us this beautiful building, this state-of-the-art building, this building which, as my colleague pointed out, will transform our children as it's transformed this community to be able to achieve it. It not only is symbolic in what it will do for the children of today, it's also a community resource, which is incredibly powerful. You know, I danced in the other school, I will admit, you know, and maybe when there's, we take our masks off and Hutch can have ballroom again, I might venture back. But here, in this new gymnasium, which is a community resource, it was built with that in mind. And Pelham, as we know, has a lot of community events. And I expect that I'm going to be in that gymnasium for not just a school event, but for all of the wonderful civic events that Pelham is noted for. So congratulations to everyone who has done so much to improve the lives of our children here in Pelham, but also to improve the lives of every community member that Pelham represents. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Assemblywoman. And next, I'm pleased to invite our county executive, who's become a true crucial partner through the last year of COVID. Our Monday morning phone calls are always a delight. Please welcome our Westchester County Executive, George Latimer.
Thank you very much. I'm the proud father of one child, a daughter who celebrates her birthday on Sunday. She lives about 750 miles away from here, so I can tell you she's going to turn 36, and she won't know that I outed her age in a group of people. But you know, when I stand here now, and I'm in grandfather land, I look at the young children and the parents of those children who are the age of my daughter, and I think to myself, of all the things that I have ever done in my life, governmentally, what I did in my corporate career, the house that I live in, the car that I drive, nothing was more important to me and my wife than that daughter of ours. That we raise her, that we give her a great opportunity for life, and when they're very young, when they're reciting the Pledge of Allegiance the way that they do, and as they go through all of those years, and then in due time they grow up and become adults of their own with families of their own, you say to yourself, whatever else I do or haven't done in my life, we impacted that life, that child that we have. And if your child is young right now, that's your aspiration. And what the school board has done here, and the people of Pelham through their support, is to state just how important that child's growth is by giving them a modern facility that has the modern equipment in it. I went to elementary school on the other side of the next door community, Mount Vernon. I grew up on the other far side, Grimes Elementary School. And I went back about 10 years ago and they built a new Grimes building, and it looked different. And my first reaction was, I lost my memories. I lost the way Grimes looked when I was a kid, and I wanted to remember that, when I was with this person or that person. But I realized that for the children of today to have the best possible education, which is what Dr. Champ and this group of people are trying to accomplish, you need facilities, you need services that can help these young people get to the very best that they can be to go on to the middle and the high school level. That's what's been accomplished in Pelham today. Westchester County is not a direct line of report. Really, Amy and Alessandra do so much more for the school district because they're state legislators. But we want to be a good partner. We continue to be a good partner. You've got a great community here and a great school district, and now a new great school to go with it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And next, I am very pleased to introduce a true partner through the last few years, not just with buildings and facilities, but COVID and all that came with it. So Jessica DiDomenico, who has led through the most extraordinary times, is here to now offer her greetings to us today.
Well, I admire all of those who can speak off the cuff and don't have to write anything down. I wrote some things down because I didn't want to miss anything. Good afternoon. As Dr. Champ said, I'm Jessica DiDomenico and the proud president of the Pelham Board of Education. On behalf of my wonderful board and all the past board members, I'm thrilled to be here this afternoon to mark this most amazing milestone in Pelham school history. While I'm not one to wish summer away because it is my most favorite time of year, I have been looking forward to this day all summer long. I echo all of the gratitude for the many hands you will hear helped us arrive at today's ribbon cutting ceremony. We would not be here without you. The decision to build a new school was not easy for the board to make, but we did so with the future in mind. Over the past 2 years, as we endured some of our darkest days, this project provided a beacon of hope and progress and a compass reminding us of our purpose and direction. Despite all the hardships the pandemic created for our school community, this school opened today, on time and ahead of budget. In many ways, this feels like a minor miracle and a testament to the vision and hard work of so many people here today. The opening of the new Hutchinson School coincides with another enormous milestone in our community, one that lends this afternoon an additional layer of meaning. This year, we're celebrating the Centennial of Pelham Memorial High School. How apropos to be opening this new state-of-the-art elementary school in the same year, a school which will welcome students into the next century. How fitting to imagine our forebears huddled together outside the high school 100 years ago, imbued with a similar set, my pages are stuck together, of hope and ideals, looking to the future with clarity and purpose. How proud I am to imagine a similar group of parents standing here 100 years from today. Just as the Centennial celebration has called us to reflect on our high school's rich history and consider our vision for its next century, this project has focused our attention in much the same way. As we plan for the future of Hutchinson School, it is important that we take a moment to honor its rich history. I am grateful for the groundbreaking events that we had when this project began and the time capsule ceremony in June, which gave students, alumni, and families time to reflect and memorialize the generations of moments shared in the older building. Moreover, as community members and former teachers and students have shared their memories in Hutchinson School, I have been moved by their stories. Like a special home, it isn't just the physical structure, but the people and memories within it that make it exceptional. While it will be bittersweet for many to see this old building come down later this year, it is clear that great care has been given to weaving all that makes Hutchinson extraordinary into the fabric of this new home. This week, many in our community celebrated the Jewish New Year, which gives those who observe the opportunity to reflect on the past year and to consider how they may want to start anew with the sweetest of intentions. Like a new year, a new school gives us many fresh opportunities, a new way of operating, of engaging with students and staff, time to shape the school's culture, and a chance to better align our student and teacher experiences with our mission. It is my hope that the students, families, teachers, and staff will feel a sense of purpose and renewal in this new space, not just this year, but in all the years to come. Personally speaking, participating in my slice of this project has been one of the most rewarding experiences I've had as a board member and throughout my career as an educator. It is exciting to be so closely a part of something that will help shape the future of this school community and our greater Pelham community in such a positive way. A decade from now, when the new Hutchinson feels like a fixture in our wonderful town, those of us who are standing here today will know we each played an important role in the greater good of our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jessica. And next, one of the people from the board who was responsible for bringing me here to Pelham, so someone who I will eternally be thankful for. I share with you our former school board president, Ms. Madeline Smith, with her comments.
Thank you. This is truly a special day. After all of the stresses of the last year and a half in particular, this is a real bright spot in Pelham's evolution. Our community worked so hard to pass a bond which changed the trajectory of the Hutchinson Elementary School. The last year that I served on Pelham's Board of Education, which was 2018, was certainly my most memorable. While the work had begun the year before, we spent an inordinate amount of time during the 17-18 school year examining the condition of the old elementary school, the core of which was built in 1913, and discussing the best course of action to best meet the needs of our Hutchinson students and the community at large. We had just hired a new superintendent, Dr. Cheryl Champ. Dr. Champ was thrown into the fire her first year here at Pelham. And boy, did she rise to the occasion, and then some. She happened to be the right person at the right time. Seeing the complexity of the decisions in front of us, Dr. Champ led us through a decision analysis paradigm that had us analyzing 8 different potential scenarios for dealing with the crumbling facade and numerous other problems facing the old Hutchinson building. Dr. Champ had us rank them all using about 25 different criteria for each. After hours and hours of work week after week, this process led us to the conclusion that building a new state-of-the-art school for the 21st century was the best long-term decision for our community that would stand the test of time. Over the course of the next many months, we held and attended over 100 different meetings, coffees, focus groups, building tours, and town halls, gathering with different groups and organizations in town to share and discuss our plans with the community. So many gracious people hosted coffees or evening sessions in their homes to help with the conversation. And Dr. Champ gave up countless evenings and weekends to meet with the residents of Pelham and see this process through. We are very grateful to you, Dr. Champ, for your leadership and guidance in making this new school a reality. In May of 2018, the bond was passed with 70% of the community's approval. Of course, the bond included many other wonderful and needed improvements, including the new athletic turf fields and tennis courts at Glover, the addition on Prospect Hill, and renovations at the high school. But it is the new Hutchinson school that we celebrate today. The most rewarding part of that process was that so many people came together to help share our plans for a new school with the broader community and to ultimately pass that bond. This group included hundreds of individual community members, too many for me to mention them all, administrators, teachers, school staff members, and organizations all across town. And then there was the Vote Yes for Pelham Schools group, led by Kate Carpenter, Maura Curtin, and Erin Ginsberg, with a beautiful graphic designed by Paula Wood. These women, with the help of many others, canvassed the town, held events, and worked unbelievably hard to get the word out to the broader community. We had Alex Wolf, our public information officer, who shared our stresses just as much as anyone, working tirelessly to detail the work of the board and share it with the community day in and day out. And Stevie Pollack and Maria Caravellano were the nuts and bolts of it all. That July of 2018 was the end of my second term, and I chose not to run again. Like Dr. Champ, Sue Childs and Jessica DiDomenico had just begun their tenure on the Board of Education in the 17-18 school year. They too were thrown into one of the busiest and craziest years that I thought a board member could have. And they fully embraced the challenge with an unbelievable passion, working like crazy. Everyone on the board in 2017-18, which included Krista Acampora, Tom Imperato, Pete Liascos, and Steve Molyneux, gave enormous amounts of their time to this process. But I mentioned Sue and Jessica in particular because it was their first year, and I remember telling them, many times I might add, that 17-18 was an anomaly. I promised them that volunteering for the Board of Education is not usually this tough and all-consuming. In fact, I assured them that while the next few years would certainly be busy, it would be nothing like the year we just had. I know I don't have to tell you what came next to make my words ring hollow. How was I supposed to know there would be a pandemic? Never mind that the tough job of actually building this school still lay before the board and the administration, despite a pandemic and all the countless hours of work that would accompany their roles. While I was no longer on the Board of Education, I applied for a spot on the board's bond steering committee as a community member so that I could remain a part of the process and see the school's progress. I was so impressed by the chairs of the committee and the committee as a whole. In 2018-19, the committee was chaired by Sue Childs, a natural leader. She was followed by Jess Young, who became chair of the bond steering committee during her second year on the board. Jess also happens to be an architect, and she did a remarkable job in leading this committee for the past 2 years. She knows the right She knows the right questions to ask, she knows how projects should be managed, and she was laser focused on what needed to get done. We have been fortunate to have John Bryce serving on the bond steering committee, also an architect and instrumental to the success of this building. He's one of those board members we just can't seem to let go of. After serving 9 years previously, the town gave him a break for a few years since he had just finished overseeing the building of Pelham's middle school, before he was ushered back into service yet again for 3 more years. Eileen Miller, Leah Tabaz, Vinnie Mazzaro, and previously Pete Liascos, everyone on the Board of Education since the passage of the bond has worked incredibly hard to make the right decisions for this building and to get it done on time and on budget. And we are so thankful for all that you have done. There's just too many people to thank here. And of course, Jim Rickey, our Assistant Superintendent of Business, and John Condon, our Director of Facilities, and their entire staff have done all the hard work on the ground and behind the scenes of bringing this project to fruition. But this building wouldn't be the beautiful building that it is without its architect, Russell Davidson, and KG&D Architects. Russell was with us since the beginning, with his patience, his inspiration, his expertise in school design and construction, and his steadfastness. He has done a tremendous job. And there are many other volunteers on the bond steering committee who have contributed to the success of this moment. Teachers, administrators, including Hutchinson's much-loved principal, Tricia Fitzgerald. School staff and community members, they all deserve our thanks. We cannot forget Triton Construction Management, led by Kevin Sawyer, along with our project manager, Frank Arturi, and their entire staff. After all, they did build the school. Again, on time and on budget in the middle of a pandemic. I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to remember our very dear friend, Tom Imperato. He was one of the biggest cheerleaders for this new school. Tom passed on in 2020, but I know he's smiling down on Hutchinson School wherever he is. His wife Teresa and his children Sam and Olivia know all too well how hard Tom worked to help make this new school a reality. I wish he could be here. He would be very proud. Okay, just a few closing thoughts. During my time on the board, I found people in Pelham to be engaged, interested, willing to listen, and to respectfully share their thoughts and ideas. And during my 18+ years of living in this town, Pelham has been known for supporting its neighbors, lifting one another up when we are most in need. I believe that collectively we can change a community for the better, even little by little, as long as we acknowledge that most people's intentions are good, and as long as we work together rather than side by side, because we're all on the same team. We're all neighbors, we're friends. We just have to figure out the best ways forward. What can we agree on? Grab it, inch forward. We need each other. We need our sense of community. It's what has always made Pelham special. And it's what will define us as we move forward. It's worth the effort, and that effort is what we're celebrating here today. Pelham is worth it, our kids are worth it, and I feel extremely fortunate and proud to be part of this caring and supportive community. Here today, celebrating Pelham's new Hutchinson Elementary School. Congratulations to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Madeline. And now we've heard her name mentioned a couple times. I'm very pleased to introduce who is perhaps one of the finest administrators I have ever worked with, to not only figure out how do you deal with a construction project, close a building, open a building during a pandemic, and get her doctorate on top of that, because she had a little bit of spare time in there. I am very pleased now to turn the microphone over to the Hutchinson School Principal, Dr. Tricia Fitzgerald.
So not only is it the first day of school, which is my favorite day of school, but look at this crowd, everybody. I can see some of my students here, former students, parents. This is a sight to behold. But good afternoon, and thank you for joining our ribbon cutting ceremony. I am Dr. Fitzgerald, the principal of this beautiful new building. It is truly an honor to stand before those of you who have worked tirelessly to design this new building, who worked so hard to pass the bond proposal, who have lived, learned, and worked through construction, and whose vision has put student learning at the center of every detail. We are here today at our ribbon cutting ceremony because of all of you. On July 1st, 2016, the scaffolding on the former Hutchinson School was erected. I remember that day vividly, as it was my very first day as the principal of the Hutchinson School. While months of conversation would follow as our next steps were determined and analyzed, the resulting decision was to build a new school that would bring 21st century learning from a vision to a reality. While the exterior of this new school is something to marvel at, what I find the most exciting is the power of the 21st learning environments that were created on the inside. This was not done by happenstance, and I am proud to be part of a school district with the foresight to explore the use of space in schools prior to the scaffolding ever being installed. During my first year, that exploration was focused on our newly designed maker spaces, and this learning space was designed as a place where students could create, tinker, innovate, test, collaborate, and communicate with their peers. Yet the work of the Innovation Committee, led by Dr. Garcia, our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction and Personnel, did not end there. During the 2016-17 school year, the committee visited other districts and engaged in research to study how to redesign the 20th century classrooms to better support teachers in implementing innovative and student-centered instructional strategies, and to better support students in the development of skills necessary to thrive in the 21st century. This groundwork led to PF-funded grants to pilot classroom designs around the district, and what was learned through those pilots was used to inform the design of our new classrooms right here at the Hutchinson School. As you tour the building today, you're going to notice a couple of things that are a lot different from the old Hutchinson School. The first is our library is now called the Learning Commons because it can flexibly change to enable collaborative or personalized or even teacher-directed learning experiences. You'll notice that spaces in classrooms have more than one front to the room. There's a whiteboard on one side and interactive technology on another. And furniture is set up to host small collaborative group settings where peers can learn from each other. There's individual spaces where students have space for personal reflection and individualized work, and space where the flow of information is more teacher-directed. Our beautiful atrium not only promotes collaboration among classes together, but allows for the learning commons, the maker space, and art rooms to be an accessible part of learning. Thank you all for joining us on this momentous occasion, and heartfelt thanks to all of you who worked so hard to make this possible, especially the teachers who have unpacked hundreds and hundreds of boxes in the last week. I am truly grateful for all your efforts. Thank you also to my administrative colleagues who made sure that the technology infrastructure in our curriculum was top-notch and ready to go as well. All of that coming together made me extremely excited for the learning that will transpire inside these walls for generations to come. Thank you.
Okay, so now I get to bring it home. Wow, and the crowd's only gotten bigger. So, when I first met the Board of Education in May of 2017, I found a governing body that was made up of a diverse group of accomplished professionals, each bringing a unique perspective and expertise to their volunteer service on behalf of the schools. I'm thrilled that 3 of the members of that original board are here, and I know that a 4th, Tom Imperato, is looking down on us today with incredible pride. Amongst the board, I saw a very consistent thread of pride in the community and a strong commitment to responsibly investing in the quality of all aspects of the schools. I also heard about a little facade problem and the need to make some difficult decisions about the future of the Hutchinson School. And the next year of my life became the whirlwind of planning and passing the 2018 bond referendum. I often say that was the best crash course in how to truly get to know a community. And in doing that, I learned firsthand just how special of a town Pelham truly is. Many of you likely remember the extensive debate and discussion that Madeline referenced that ensued during the 2017-28 school year, as the board and community wrestled with how to proceed. Russ Davidson, Walter Hauser, Sarah Dursa, Sue Davidson, and the entire team from KGD, I know you remember the depths of those discussions. 7 versions, 8 versions. I guess that's just the Pelham way. Thank you for your patience, your attention to detail, and your visionary design. As I was preparing today, I reflected on the priorities and the criteria that we set as part of that decision analysis process. And I'm proud to stand before this stunning school that will be the heart of North Pelham and the entire Pelham community for generations to come. So for one last time, let's go through those priorities together. Best addresses capacity issues. The new school is built to accommodate the current 18 elementary classrooms with enough swing space for at least 4 more if needed. There are collaborative small group instruction spaces between classrooms, as well as hallway nooks and for quiet work and breakout sessions. It boasts 3 classrooms for special education, plus occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech and language, and English as a new language. It has a dedicated music room, art room, maker space, learning commons, professional development center for the district, full-size gymnasium, and multi-purpose cafeteria with a kitchen. Capacity for opportunities that will serve our students and community flexibly, both now and in the future. The option that minimizes disruption to learning during construction. School successfully continued throughout the construction, and that is with a global pandemic that none had considered during the planning process, of course. A momentous accomplishment again by our Dr. Fitzgerald, who planned every detail of managing the old school with facility limitations caused by construction, then leading through COVID, while also making thousands of decisions about almost every detail of the new classroom furnishings, procedures, use of space that would be needed, all with her students' best interest in mind. Additionally, she helped her staff envision the plan for the changes and opportunities to come in a new school, and then coordinated to make the move so that students and staff seamlessly ended the school year in one building last June and began their first day of school today in another building without missing a beat. This could not have been accomplished without the trust and flexibility of her staff and the committed, top-notch assistance of her custodial staff, led by head custodian Juan Valencia. This smooth coordination would also not have been possible without our construction management team from Triton Construction, led by Frank Arturi and Matt Johns on the ground each day, and Kevin Sawyer, overseeing and leading this project from its inception. Thank you. The option that supports our educational program. The school is designed and furnished incorporating student-centered learning and innovation principles that have been studied and piloted by our faculty under the visionary leadership of Dr. Stephen Garcia, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Instruction, and Personnel, assisted by our Director of Technology, John Sabalos, and a slew of talented administrators and teachers on the K-12 Innovation Committee. Their work over many years was assisted by being brought to fruition thanks to the faithful financial support of the Pelham Education Foundation. The lessons learned from these pilot programs brought about the classroom design, technology, and tools that will support teaching and learning in a seamless, student-centered way, and that we would not otherwise have. Dr. Garcia, thank you for your long view of the adaptive changes that could be possible to provide our students a rich, engaging learning experience, and our teachers the tools and training to grow and evolve their practice in ways that foster collaboration, communication, creativity, and critical thinking. And Mr. Sabalos, thank you for embodying these practices in the classroom, for working side by side with faculty to model, coach, and support their work, for the incredible attention to detail and thinking about how technology should be designed to work in service of teaching and learning. It is the means, not the ends. You've also designed a backbone and systems to make sure students and teachers have what they need on a daily basis, and that all safety, security, and communication systems in the school are fully integrated, efficient, and that there's support for all of these critical systems, using the construction of this school not only for the school, but also to strengthen critical redundancies necessary to bolster our entire district. We are truly grateful to you and your entire technology team. Your ability to design and implement the entirety of the system and recognize that this innovative space will be transformative for our students and generations to come. Thank you. The new school is the option that is fiscally prudent and provides financial and future programmatic flexibility. Under the skillful hand of Jim Rickey, our Assistant Superintendent for Finance, in partnership with the Board of Education and the Bond Steering Committee led by Jess Young, the financing for this project delivered on our promises to the community, keeping all projects within the budget approved by our voters. Not only that, as a result of the strategic handling of borrowing, we have gradually stepped up the tax burden in a bearable way for homeowners and promised, and brought the overall expected payment for these projects in $12 million lower than anticipated. These moves helped us to proactively address the facilities needs of this school for decades and protected our financial resources so that we can continue to support and grow the core educational programs of our district now and into the future that have set us apart as a high-performing school district. This work could not have been managed so successfully without the outstanding efforts of Jim, our district treasurer, Jackie Vigil, and our entire business office. Please thank them for it. The option which minimizes risk during construction and is the safest. Every construction project comes with risk, so managing that risk and overseeing the working conditions, specifications, work quality, billing, and managing the push-pull of relationships that's critical to successful completion is a skill. Building a new school gave us a clean project to build from the ground up with few unknowns, which was a huge advantage to making this project a success. Many thanks go to John Condon, our Director of Facilities, who has worked side by side with Jim, Triton, KGD, Unimac, Casal, and all of the other contractors on this project to scrutinize every detail and make sure that we not only get what we bought, but that it is top quality and will be a benefit to our students and teachers. John's relentless attention to detail and knowledge of construction have assured a level of quality that we will be proud of for years to come. While there is still much left to do by way of punch lists, and it is a long punch list, I'm warning you before you go in, but that punch list is long thanks in part to COVID. Be assured, John will make sure that it gets done and it gets done right in the end. Additionally, John and Jim were key in coordinating with our community emergency services, providing not only space in our network closets for critical communications equipment for the community that will serve both police and fire departments, but also coordinating on construction disruptions to traffic, design of utility needs and connections, safety planning, parking, and even giving them training opportunities in the old school once it was vacated. Thank you to Chief Pallett, Chief DiNapoli, and now Chief Benquit for your partnership and collaboration. Quality of life features and value added to the community. When the school was designed in 2018, we knew that ADA accessibility was an imperative, and increasing the inclusiveness of our schools. But who knew that MERV 13 filters would be critical to life in 2020, which of course this building has. The new school has 2 elevators and ramps that will make the entire facility accessible to people with mobility issues. It is fully air-conditioned, built to LEED Silver standard, making it one of the most environmentally friendly and sustainable public elementary schools in our state. The heart of the building provides a fluid area where students and teachers can move between rooms that foster design thinking, collaboration, creativity, and exploration. When completed, the school will feature a car charging station, beautiful new trees and shrubs, a park beautifying the corner of Lincoln and 3rd Avenue, reinstalled plaques on the property honoring the rich history of Hutchinson School and its alums, and a field and playgrounds that will be an asset to the school and the community. Additionally, as promised, the school was built with a double regulation-sized gymnasium that will benefit both the school, district athletics, as well as town recreation and a host of other programs. The multi-purpose room is a cafeteria with a full kitchen and stage to offer the school, district, and community opportunities to come together for connection, celebration, performance, and the literal breaking of bread. These 2 spaces hold tremendous promise for the expansion of district and community programs that can bring our students together across elementary schools to help to build a strong foundation of relationships in their earliest years. By having focused on all these priorities, engaged in healthy discussion and debate, and having sought forward-thinking and visionary solutions to problems, we have created a learning space that will serve the next generations of students. This new Hutchinson School is a shining example of what a community can accomplish together when we work together on behalf of our greatest assets, our children. A few words of final thanks. Thank you to the Board of Education who did the hard work to envision this project and make a significant investment in the future of the district. Thank you to the community who were inspired by that vision and rallied to support this project, who got involved with grassroots efforts to see it through, who opened their homes to me and to neighbors to talk about the potential and the value of this project to the community, and then literally used their minivans and cars to deliver people to the polls despite flooding and storms that stranded thousands of people at work, out of town, at the most critical moment in turning the bond referendum into a reality. Thank you to our elected officials who supported this project, knowing the value it would bring to our community, and who assisted at critical times when COVID and other challenges stood in our way. Thank you to the parents who dealt with the challenges of construction at your child's school, knowing the present inconveniences were worth it. They were worth the promise of this end result, which they got to enjoy today. And thank you to our students who adapted and put up with it all, excited to see the changes in the landscape outside their windows, to watch as steel beams emerged out of the ground and transformed into a building, and who will now be the heart and soul of the first new elementary school in Westchester in a decade. They are and always will be the why in all that we do. And before I close, I want to thank a few people who have been a very personal support to me, and by extension to all of you in the district. Thank you to my office staff, Maria Caravellano, Pauline Davies, and Stevie Pollock, our former clerk, all of who stress over every detail of everything, knowing the importance of representing the district, the board, with the utmost dignity and professionalism, and who put me back together on many days, and who never lose sight of the fact that everything we do is for the benefit of the students of Pelham. Thank you to Alex Wolf for being the ghostwriter and voice of the district since the inception of this project and throughout the most tumultuous time in education. Oh, what we have learned about words. I could go on, but you would edit me, so I won't. You thread the needle on a daily basis and always stay positive. Thank you. Thank you. And finally, thank you to my husband, Patrick, who is here. Many of you have never gotten to meet him. He is right here behind the camera. Patrick has given up so much of me to the community in this project. I was going to do this without crying. You've been my faithful partner for 28 years, and I could not have accomplished this or any of the steps in my career without your faithful love and support and patience. Thank you for keeping me grounded. So my final word. I have a poster about priorities that has been on my bookshelf for a long time. It states, priorities. 100 years from now, it will not matter what my bank account was, the sort of house I lived in, or the kind of car I drove. But the world may be different because I was important in the life of a child. Each of us who has had a hand in this school was asking the question, what would it cost just to build a new school? To lay the last brick, tile, chair in place? Anyone who has had a hand in that has made a world of difference. Better, a better world. Not for just one child, but for the thousands of children who will pass through the halls of Hutchinson School for generations to come. Thank you all for making them your priority. And at this time, we're going to move to the actual ribbon cutting. Congratulations to yourselves. Thank you to the Pelham community and the Board of Education. So at long last, it is time to move to the formal ribbon cutting. So it's going to take us a couple minutes. We're going to do a couple different ribbons here. I think we have a couple of our faculty from the school are going to do the honors of holding the ribbon. Ms. Regusta and Ms. Vigiano are going to unfurl. And, actually, I'm going to think you're going to have to go probably a ways further down. Yep, and Mr. Condon, I'll take the large scissors. We're going to do a first ceremonial cut, but then we're going to stay and do some pictures. So we certainly invite our Board of Education, our former board members, our district administrators, and anyone else who wants to get a picture to stick around, and we'll do some photos. But I'm going to invite Madeline and Jessica, if you would join me.